So I want to shift into the other hemisphere. And before we do that, I just want to kind of clear, just everybody kind of root and ground into that sort of childlike wonder that has honestly got me a little antsy right now. I need to ground into that myself. I feel like we're in this redwood forest of possibility right now in this space, in this amazing sort of biodiversity of narrative potentials, that every seat here is an amazing story that took an amazing story to get to that story. And so before we talk about what that is, a story, what it means, and what it means for our future, and how we can change the world with this ancient technology, this most ancient system, I just would just love everybody. I'm gonna do it with you. I'm a little nervous. Just take a breath and just sort of like clear everything out, and just go to that place where everything is possible. And a friend of mine does this thing when I get a little anxious and I start talking too fast. He says, "Put your hand on your heart and just remember it's already happened. Like it's here. We're already there. Like the ball is in motion. You can't turn the ship around." So story is everything. We're all in a story. Our life is a story. We are a story. Money is a story. Nation states are stories. The lines on the map are fiction. Law is a metaphysical construct. All of these things are symbols and stories. And the whole matrix of consumer culture was created by public relations, marketing, and advertising to convince us of a world that is not real, that has taken precedence over the biophysical reality of planet Earth. So as we look around the world today, we see such chaos, such absurd, wanton destruction and waste. And we see a story that has decimated the real world through this crazy abstraction. And it's easy to lose hope when you look at that. But when you get the joke, everything flips around, because you realize stories made this world. Imagination created all of this structure of concrete cities, of banking infrastructures, of crippling debt, of the toppling of nation states. An idea did that. And I believe, and I know all of you here are here because you believe too, that a new idea, a new story can take us further, can take us beyond that. And the art of narrative is to take the problem and turn it into your triumph. And if there weren't problems, if there wasn't crisis and catastrophe and breakdown and breakup, there'd be no good story. It would just be like nothing happened, So I want to take you guys through a system that I've been divining, that I've been living by my whole life, that I'm calling the meta myth, which is the concoction of Another World is Possible, the storytelling federation that I'm working to birth. And if somebody could do me a favor and just give me a hands up every 5 minutes or so, because I got 5 sections. And if there's microphones, we can distribute. I'm gonna ask some questions. Yeah, every 5 minutes, there's different stations in the story. So, ready? And I'm gonna ask you guys to be a part of the story, because it's not just I'm not the story. I'm just the storyteller. So, okay, first of all, what is a story? Stories are our essence. We are the storytelling organism. Consciousness is not what makes us human, because dogs and crows and whales and forests are conscious. We know that. We're smart. Human beings perceive something that doesn't exist yet, and then believe it so firmly that we make it real. And we are very, very good at rearranging the physical structures of reality and the laws of physics as we know them to make that story real. So when we understand this process, we understand the transformative potential that every one of us has in the work that we do. And as we evolve currency and governance and we create all this new technology, I'm here to help remember story as that technology to get us from here to there and to turn crisis into opportunity. And so basically the meta myth is this sort of essential story structure. It's the structure that's embedded, I believe, in the cells that make us up, that there is a story in all of us. And it really is very simple. How did we get here? Why are we here? Where are we going? How do we get there? And who do we need to make that story real? So we're going to go through the stages of this. I'm going to give you a little spiel, and then we'll just have questions, and you guys can sort of help talk this story out. I do this process with organizations, individuals, ideas, movements, to sort of align their story as something that is not just bleh, like marketing to like get more numbers, you know? That's something that's really a transformative process, a process of conscious evolution to go to the future that we want and reel ourselves back in. Okay, so the first stage of this journey, of course, is the call to adventure, which in our case, I mean in most cases, is the end of a previous story. And so we're here to talk about finance. Finance comes from the word finar, fin, the end. And so finance is about endings, it's about cessation, it's about clearing. We're done severing that relationship. And so I believe we're here at the end of the end, at the fin of fin, to create a new story. We were talking last night about gen ants, the genesis ants, this new magic of something that is at the beginning. But right now, the beginning of the story starts in the problem. It starts in why are we here? How did we get here in this catastrophizing, crazy world? Can someone in the audience let us understand what is the problem that has brought us all here? Because every one of you is sitting here, not because the world worked perfectly, but because there is something deeply broken in our reality. Can we get a... I like this. Just yell it out. Yeah, go ahead. Capitalism. All right. Deracination. Good answers. Okay, so yeah, we know why we're here. That basically we have separated ourselves from nature. We are decoupled from the biophysical reality. We are in fear and scarcity because we have separated ourselves from nature. And so our financial system, I would say, is a core problem of that because it's a mechanism of scarcity, and it perpetuates itself through scarcity and through endless growth, which is a paradox that's tearing the world apart. So our problem, the statement of why we're here, is the separation and the disconnection and the scarcity that is generated by our economic system. Okay, now we move into what do we do about that? Why are we here? And we're not actually here to do bioregional finance. That's just a means to an end. We're here for a deeper purpose. Why are we here? Why are all of you here? Why are these chairs filled with people? Why are we here? Love, classic. Come on, let's hear it. Connection. Innovation. Community. Remembrance. To grow the more beautiful world we know is possible. We'll get there. That's next. So essentially, the purpose that we're here for is to reconnect with nature and is to embed ourselves back into that loving framework of the real and natural world that has always taken care of us and will always take care of us. And to ground ourselves back into place, into a world that makes sense, into a foundation that we can build any world that we choose in this beautiful bioregional way where we're not prescribing one world over the other because there's not one story. And that's the problem that money has committed to us, that there's one God, there's one story, there's one value system. Okay, so we have our purpose, we have the heart. When you have that gold, you know why you're here. Nothing can stop you, nothing can take you down. And it's a myth that purpose and profit actually don't mix, that purpose-driven enterprises are like 42% more effective, even in a pure market sense, because people want to buy into something. They don't just want to buy something. So this is a framework for actually transcending the old story, but it's building a bridge into the new one. Yes? 5 minutes? Oh, now I got 2 of them in there. So, okay, all right, we're good. All right, so we know why we're here. And I think everybody here really knows that. A lot of people have lost their purpose, and the world is not on purpose. We're not consciously creating the world that we want. And so the best that many of us can hope for is a reactive thing where we want more of this or we want more of that, or oh, I just need this, like I'm bleeding and you need to just like plug that hole. I want to step out of that, and I want to have everybody just really root super duper deep down into that beautiful world we know is possible, that we know it's possible. This is the next phase. This is the heart of everything is what is possible. Once we know why we're here, okay, if we do that, what is possible? What is the world after we've succeeded perfectly? That is where we build and design and dream from, not from inching our way toward that, like we're on Mount Everest crawling towards something, you know? What is possible? If we succeed, if we achieve this, if bioregionalism returns, if we return, if our bioregions are strong and connected, and we are reconnected, and love flows once again, and our purpose is realized, what is possible? Speak up, please. We all belong. A world where everyone belongs and no one is out of place. Beautiful. Collective potential is realized. Okay? Food, water, shelter, community. The basics. Done. Met. Taken care of. For every being. Come on, let's keep it going. Abundance. That's right. Abundance. Not just enough. Not 10% more KPI. Abundance. And so much that you have to share. Come on, keep it coming. What do you say?
Swimming with otters and hugging bears.
Woo.
Playing with squirrels as they crack nuts open for us. Just living endless.
Reconnecting with the animal life that, you know, our ancestors like hung out with, you know, for ages, for eternity. Co-creating a natural living intelligence system with the living intelligence system of nature itself. Come on, keep it coming. This is the best part. Harmony. Harmony. Biodiversity.
All waters are clean.
Publishing platforms for storytellers where we control our own data. I envision a whole storytelling ecosystem that really brings storytelling back to its proper place so that everyone in these chairs, all of these different projects, have their story told, and we can just plug in to the right storytellers and the right mechanics and utilize all these systems and structures to be able to understand and root that story out and send it to the moon and then draw in the resources. So I like to think about in this phase, the what is possible phase, that there's horizons of this. What are the sort of 3 horizons? Like, we know the world that we want to get to. It's beautiful. It's like every bioregion is its own extremely dense, diverse, vibrant space that is totally unique, that is completely in abundance because it realizes the regenerative capacity of nature, will always support us, always. That there's nothing we can go without if we regenerate. We're hanging out with the animals. Biodiversity is just explosive. You cannot count the plants and animals that we see and relate to on a daily basis. So we understand that that world is where we're trying to get to, this beautiful space. So like what's halfway? What's halfway between this and that? Stepping into place-based belonging. I would say it's bioregional movements popping up like spores all over the world, emerging, finding themselves, remembering, connecting, a network of bioregions that is starting to sort of bring humanity back to its proper place and show people what reality is. And then so from there, we work back to, all right, what is our mission? What is the first step? Where are we right now that we can reorient ourselves around not a static statement that's going to go on a website, our mission statement. Our mission is to end homelessness in the Tri-County area. You know, like, what is the mission that we live and breathe? And Kairos time.
It's everything in the time that it needs to be in, not chronological time. It's a schedule that's telling us when we should be there. It's like actually dropping into when you're present, the time that's the right time is what the right time is.
So an idea whose time has come is bioregionalism. And like that beautiful woman who cried earlier, and she said we were all water, and the water was coming out of her, and she was saying, like, the revolution is right where you're at. I'm at 5. I don't know. I'm off the map right now. I think I'm okay. Good. I'm running to the mission. All right. The mission is really like getting down to brass tacks. It's like it's hard strategy. All right. We know where we want to go, and this is a different phases of the system are more important or more difficult for different people. Like, a lot of people have done really well in this world, in this system, and they're rich in money and sales and customers and donors, but maybe they're not so rich in purpose. A lot of the change makers I meet this is the part where they really struggle, because they're dreamers, they're visionaries. They see this brilliant world and all this crap and financial institutions and laws and legal structures, all of this is in the way. And so we really need to become strategists and see story as a strategic aspect of ourselves, to co-create ourselves very intentionally as a bridge to the world that we're in today, and as a journey and a roadmap to get through those hard obstacles. I should have said this in the journey section too, but to be able to own our obstacles, or not the journey section, the problem section, that we want to own our obstacles. We want to realize that those are our strengths, and we don't want to hide them away and just pretend like everything's fine on social media. Like, if you're struggling for cash, make that part of your story, that we struggle for cash because we're in a system that doesn't support advanced, amazing, radical, transformative thinkers like us, and we are here to realize and change that. So this is I don't know how to throw this out to the audience of like what are some next steps? What are some immediate practical steps that we can use to strategically align ourselves to realize this vision? Party for the planet. And the flow funding will flow like champagne. Woo! All right, come on. Let's get practical here. Let's get practical. We've got a world to win. Find the others. Yes, find the others. Create these networks where we are sending out these pulses all around and calling in the right people and finding the other people who get it. And stop wasting your time trying to preach to the choir and we need to move out of these economies of scale where we're just trying to hit as many people as possible because we're like operating in an operating system that was made to pump out as many shoes as possible from a factory. That's not the world we live in. We live in a world of economies of scope where we're trying to find those people that we are hyper connected to and speak directly to their heart and soul and craft this story as the Excalibur that's going to slice through the bullshit and cut right to the heart of who we need. Well, we're not there yet, but anyways, more practical steps. What can we do? Come on, what are some?
Educate the next generation.
Mutual aid and educate the next generation. I'd say they're very close together. But yeah, creating mutual aid networks. Like every single bioregional network shouldn't push itself as a bioregional network first and only, but as a network where you can tap into and meet the needs that you have, that regular people have. That I firmly believe that mutual aid networks are an essential part of any organization. They need to be in the beating heart of it. That every company, every organization is a network. And instead of just resource flows going this way, we want to go this way. We want to connect our people in our network with each other because that's where the real network is. That's where all the abundance is. When we find what we all have, we realize most of our needs can be met locally with people in our networks together. And so, yes, a big part of this mission is really restructuring the organization itself. Like our homies before were talking about with these DAOs, these funky digital networks. It's making every organization is a community of people. And we're structuring that as an invitation to bring people in, not just into transactions, but into deep relational interconnection. How are we on time? 1 minute. Damn, I'm going fast. I thought I was going to slow down. Okay, let's do some more like practical things that we've got here. Like, what are some steps that we can take? That was really fast and really specific. Honor the cycles of the moon. I don't know. Permaculture action. Okay, I understand how those two fit together. Can someone get her a mic? Can someone get her a mic? What? Say that up. Speak up.
Permanent real estate cooperatives that can hold multiple properties where people can buy into the network rather than having to buy land. It's also resilient because people's properties are going to burn in this bioregion, allowing people to flow their food culture.
Fuck yeah. I've been talking about this for a long time. Creating real estate trusts. Like making it the purpose of your organization to get landed and to ground yourself in the land-based projects and buildings and buy housing cooperatives and bring them into a trust. Like, I saw this Instagram video of this real estate dude who's like, here's how I made my first $1 billion. And he basically bought a house, lived in the basement, rented out the upstairs, bought his second house, took the equity in that house to buy another house, then took the equity in that house, and then bought another house. And it's like, we need to be learning how to play the game. I think that's actually a really good point of a super tangible structure of how we've got to learn how to interface with the system and play the game. And I think about this quote often. I never got it in the Bible, and conservatives always used it as a justification for money worship, but render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. If we live in a system where money is the entirety of our value system, and if it is not legible in money, it doesn't exist in matter, we can just kind of realize oh, that sucks and is this profound disfigurement of reality and value. But also it's if you can just throw the coins, just give them their coins, put the coin in the slot, they will leave you alone. And we can create money as the boundary of our own agreement systems, our own currencies, our own networks, our own ways that we can beat the system by not needing it as much. Okay. All right. What did you say? What did you say? Play the game to break the game. That's perfect. Perfectly said.
I was gonna say, but at the same time, if you're gonna to be in this space, utilize it as both a place of assisting each other within the space and then moving forward. Because you can be in that space and say, "Oh, I'm not like them," but then sometimes I'll give a behavior specific. So I'm spiritual and sorry, just say this right here. So you can't say, okay, well, because we talked about it earlier. You can't say, okay, play the game, but then you have people within your community who are in lesser situations that you are. And so, like, you have to be able to figure out, okay, yes, you can create this space, but be able to, like, give back to your community at the same time. But it has to be a place where you're able to build upon it. Like, if someone in your community, so say, for instance, you buy a home, and then you have like 3 homes, and then you know someone that need a space, because you have to literally build within your community and say, okay, well, you can be in this space, get on your feet. Once you get on your feet, like, you pull back into the system, but you have to be able to pour back into the system. What happens is people are trying to create generational wealth by themselves instead of together. And so you have to be in a space where you're able to connect with the people that are around you and say, okay, what do you need? What do I need? How do I literally provide? How can we provide for each other with the things that the other person don't have? But most of the time we want to go in and say, okay, well, I have this, and like, I don't have capacity for you or to help you out. But at the same time, we need each other to connect, because we're on a timeline together for a reason. And if you don't figure out what that timeline is, the next level you were supposed to arise or ascend in, you miss a step because you forgot to bring someone that was supposed to be on your level or your timeline with you, because you didn't see that what they had was what you have is what you had to give, and what they had is what they had to give. Everyone is on a season and a time with each other. Sometimes it's long and sometimes it's short. But when you miss a season, when you miss a step, because you're supposed to connect with someone and supposed to help them on their timeline, that's when you find yourself in a space of not learning a lesson, nor learning how to move forward. So it's about learning how to, like, be discerning, and also learning how to work together, because that's the missing piece.
Brilliantly stated. And I just want to underscore and double click on that this is a structural thing, that we need to structure these kinds of agreements and values into a new system that is fundamentally transcends the old system, which is the story that we're stuck in. The corporation is a story that we're stuck in. A piece of paper with a bunch of names written in a pyramid that comes to life and eats the world. What? I did not choose that story. So we were trying to create something new in federations of projects that are coming together to mutually support each other, going beyond just worker-owned cooperatives that are isolating and doing their own thing to make their own little worker-owned coffee shop or whatever. Yeah?
But I will say you can make some of it work, because I study, like, how different organizations do things. So for me, I'm good at understanding systems, and so we can say that it's a bad system. It's the person that created the value that they created for that system is that system. So when you literally figure out, okay, this is how they did it, and then you say, okay, well, if they did it this way, and the value that they put in it was not great, so that means I need to go in, I need to figure out, how can I do this in a way that it will bring a win-win for everyone? So I would say, like, okay, I was a part of a organization, and it was a nonprofit, but they did it in a way that was really cool, because what happens is whoever founded whoever founded that space, and it's about a frequency, whatever. But anyway, whoever founded that space, they literally put in that space to say, okay, well, whoever signed and who was on the forefathers part of it, their family members got a chance to go to that place for free the rest of their lives. and whoever, and then all they had to do is just pay whatever they need to pay for, like the things that they bought that month. So it's like there are systems that work, but you got to figure out how can you create it in a way where it does not oppress and suppress, oppress other people. Not talking about race, but just other people that are around you. So that's what I want to say.
Thanks for that. Okay, so the last part of the story in this structure is the call, the invitation, is where the story turns back around. It goes from your call to adventure, your hero's journey, into that call to a kindred quest, which is really beyond the individual. It's going into that cooperation, into that extended network. It's finding that story, understanding it in your bones, aligning everyone in the organization to it so that everybody lives and breathes it and understands where it's going and very precisely how to get there. And then broadcasting that story out into the world to say, we need you to finish this story. And then charting an engagement pathway, not a linear sales funnel, but a sort of hero's journey that you're sort of designing. And we're working to develop media systems to put media as the invocation at each of the points to initiate people into each turning point, to craft a journey that people come into in that journey. Who do we need in this story? Who do we need? Too broad. Come on, the more specific you are in the person that you're looking for, like if you're on social media or whatever, and you're like, hey, we need everyone, you'll get somebody. But if you are really specific, you're like, I need a Filipino-speaking video editor who does it. Like, you're probably gonna find that person more likely than you are. Like, I've done a lot of online community building, and speaking the world into existence. This is the essence of it all. We are speaking the world that we want into existence, and the more precise you are with that speech, the more you're gonna get it. So, healing artists and cultural catalysts. Children, love it. Your neighbors, brilliant. Getting your neighbors into this network. The people of Rojava, amazing revolutionary community. People are always asking them, like, how can we do a revolution in our country? They're like, have tea with your neighbors. Like, that's a huge thing. And doing this locally and bringing people into this connective networks and meeting them where they're at and giving them needs, meeting their needs. Not everybody understands yet that they need a bioregional affinity and reconnection with their land, but they know that they need community. They know that they need healthy food. They know that they need more time in nature. And we can always find people and connect with them and meet them where they're at. And I just think this is a sort of an essential philosophical kind of break from the larger thing. It's like we have to understand that and meet people where they are. And not be like, oh, people are stupid, they don't get it, if only they just understood. That's your responsibility, to very kindly understand that we've all been duped by a bad story. And that we don't know any better until we do. And then we do, and we share it, and we spread it, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. And so as we come to this close of this little, monomythic sprint through this process that takes, as long as it takes for people to find the answers to these questions and really embody and live them, we understand that we're creating a regenerative feedback loop where we are envisioning something beautiful, we are calling it in, we are bringing in the resources, the talent, the capital, the energy that we need to make that shit real, and then we tell a new story. And that's what the baddies do. That's what Elon Musk does. He goes out and he's like, we're going to go to the moon, we're going to go to the, he says all this crap, and then the capital comes in, and then they get the engineers, and they build 5% of it, and they come out on the stage, and they show it off, and then they throw more money at it, and then they repeat until they have enough power to take over a sovereign government. So we need to learn from these people. We need to learn that bullshit runs the world, and that our system, our financial system, bringing it full circle, is based on speculation and hype. It is based on bullshit. And if we realize that, we can try fighting it, or we can just be like, oh, we are storytellers. We were born to tell stories, and we are living a much better story than any of these tech bros, no offense if you're a tech bro, can imagine. So what story do you guys want to tell? Like, what is the story that we're living through here? I mean, that's the endless question. That's the question I want to leave you on. That's the question I don't want to leave you on. That's the question I want to begin on. This is the beginning of a new way of thinking about how we tell stories, how we understand the stories that we're living in, and how we consciously change our world together. Any questions? Anyone else want to come up and tell a story? Like, we got some time left, right? Or are we wrapping? I don't know. Seeds Regenerative Crypto Meetup. Cool. Any questions? Any? Yes, you in the back.
Mutual aid.
Mutual
And
aid.
sometimes it helps if we have a real live example that's in our world today that we're all struggling with. The positive mutual aid that I've observed in my career is local, state firefighters. They work together to put out a fire and save lives and to get people safe. And they do a good job, in my opinion. A bad example is the agreements between local police departments, where they aren't there to save people and do that. They're there to contractually do what the party that hired them want done. And their values may or may not align with that police officer. So I thought that they would be good examples of mutual aid, positive and negative, in our real world for people to understand. The last one I can think of is all the work we've done both in Occupy and in human, the medics, when we protest and when we do actions. To me, they are really good examples of mutual aid.
Yeah, just to speak to the firefighters real quick. I live in Topanga, California, and we just went through this whole cataclysmic, apocalyptic inferno, which is going to become all too common as the consequences of our abstract, insane, absurd value system disorder ravage the natural world's ability to protect itself from nature. Yeah, we went through this whole fire situation, and the firefighters were amazing. And we really modeled in this little tiny community penultimate mutual aid and the whole sort of like paradise built in hell of like disaster anarchism, where everyone just came together and mutual aid was the law. And like, as David Graeber said, money and markets simply become affordable when these crises happen. People snap back into reality. And the thing that really brought us through this was that we were already connected through purely social WhatsApp groups. There wasn't like an intentional high-low group for like bioregional organizing or whatever. It was just like home shares, dancing, concerts. It's like, that's the stuff that really connects us. And because we were connected and the brainwashing and the story fades away in the smoke of the real catching on fire, people come back to what is intuitive and natural, which is to help each other, because that's not a story. Or it's a story that's embedded in our genomic sequence or something. It's a deeper story than every man for himself.
Can you speak to when the story isn't big enough?
Oh, great question. Reiki, I know you got to think, but I want to answer that. Buckminster Fuller said something like, if you can't solve a problem, raise the stakes. Expand it to a bigger problem. That's a major problem, that the story's not big enough. That we're all generally trying to like hyper-specifically express some technical or economic thing, some really specific kind of jargon. I deal with this constantly, and I'm begging all of you who are trying to make an impact and struggling to do so to put an effort into and invest in your storytelling. That's one of the principles of BioFi. Invest in storytelling. It is fucking essential, and it is not being done right, because we're speaking to things in a technical basis, not from the heart. We're not inviting people into a myth, into an epic journey that's going to change their life and transform the world. We're going off this kind of calculated technical basis that I think the market system has kind of conditioned us to do. It's conditioned us to think where we're finding our niche, where really we're finding our system and our like macro journey, our epic, and then we're bringing that into the niche. And because that's the mission. We start in the macro problem, then we go into why the fuck we are here. There's just a transcendent purpose that goes way beyond. Like a guy who makes shoes doesn't make shoes. It's not his purpose. When he makes shoes, his purpose is to make every step on the journey of life memorable or something. And so if you put out a call and you say our purpose is to do this really specific thing, you're giving people who don't do that very specific thing nothing to work with. But if you go deeper than that and you say our purpose is to change the fucking world, even if you don't have a plan, people will show up. I was on an organization called Moneyless Society for years. We were talking about transcending money. And we didn't really have a clear plan of how to do that. But I got on the screen and I yapped to people about this beautiful possibility and how fucked up things were. And it gave them this beautiful vision and a purpose that we are here to realize. And the call to action was very simple. Do something about it. Join us. And dozens of people, hundreds even, came in and devoted hours of their week every week without money to do it. So yes, raise the stakes. That's hugely important. We need to tell a bigger story. We need to tell a bigger and better story. The motherfuckers are telling a big story. We're going to go to Mars. We're going to make America great again. These are big stories. They don't have a plan to do this. They don't make sense. Nobody even really wants them, but it's like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. Let's do it. We are living through the most amazing story that's ever been told, that's never been told, because it hasn't been told yet. And that's a tremendous opportunity for every one of us here. What you got, Reiki?
God, wow. What I was going to add, and you kind of already added it, but a feeling contains an infinity of words, right? So when we're raising the stakes, sometimes it's not up here. If life's going to happen beyond our wildest imaginations, we can't even imagine it. So we can't speak that story into existence, that which is more beautiful than the reality that we can even think we can attain. But we can feel it. We can step into that feeling tone of what it feels like to live in that reality and then watch it emerge around us. So this came from upstairs just before this session. And this beautiful, incredible human, she might be in here, it doesn't matter. One of us
She's right here.
came in and reminded that it is that feeling that is the magic. So when you're stepping into a state of love, that love is the source that creates all of reality. And that is the creative source. So when we're imbuing our stories with love, and love is the center of those stories, that is what's going to give them the power to manifest into reality. So you're talking about shitty stories. It's fine. That's still powerful. It's very logical. It's up here, and it's still powerful enough to move reality. But the stories that are imbued with love and centered with love, that is what all of reality is based off of. That is reality. So sometimes, that feeling can transcend words, and that's what I wanted to add into this beautiful story that you've been sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, I was talking to Charles Eisenstein. I was like 6 feet away from him, and he was explaining that beautiful world our hearts know is possible. It's very particular. It's the beautiful world our hearts know is possible. It's not the beautiful world our brains know. It's in our hearts. Our hearts know it. And that's why we've got to remember it. What you got, friend?
I have a poem I'd like to speak.
Oh,
A
fuck
poem?
yeah. Speak, sister.
Okay.
Come up here.
It's very short.
This is a very pro poetry set right here. Anybody's got a
Okay.
poem, just start bellowing.
Your feet are already on the path. Where else would they be? The path begins always and exactly where you stand. Close your eyes. Your heart knows the way.
Cheers. Thank you for that. I mean, what a beautiful set. How much time do we have? I'm double micing right now. I'm on a podcast. 5 more minutes, 7 minutes. What do you guys want to hear for 7 more minutes? Oh, we got a question right in the back. Or are you telling me to shut up by raising your hand? Because that's kind of mixed signals.
There's this book called Hospicing Modernity that I really recommend folks read by its author, Vanessa Andreotti. Breaks down what modernity is and all the roots of it. But one quote that's really stuck with me from that book, which I've encountered for especially a lot of young folks, been on the planet for 20 minutes, and we're like, okay, this is a lot of context to shift through. How do I even begin to imagine another world when my capacity to think, feel, and imagine otherwise has been shaped by modernity, has been shaped by these stories? And how do we reclaim imagination in that context? I know that you can kind of, that's what this has been about, but I don't know, any things about that specifically of the tools that we're using to create stories have been influenced by the stories that we're trying to shift away from?
Absolutely. I mean, Frederick Jameson, I think, said, it's easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism. And I think the first sort of conquest was in the mind, was in our imagination and our inability to imagine other worlds. That is the total conquest, not total yet, of neoliberalism, which is to totally conquer the imagination and make us think this is it. The end of history is upon us. There is no alternative. That's what Margaret, what's her name? Iron Lady said. Thatcher. Yeah. Ugh, I want to spit just thinking about her. But yeah, and the subject of like hospicing the world that is, I mean, like, let it burn, baby. Burn, baby, burn. Like, let it go, you know? Like, I was a climate activist for like 10 years, and I was like blocking intersections and shit. There is nothing that I could have ever done that was more disruptive and effective at breaking the system than it just letting them erupt, elect a crony, kleptocratic game show host to break the system on its own. So it's like, yeah, we are living through a tremendously terrifying, dark time, and it is our sublime opportunity to remind people that this is where the story starts to get good.
Can I steal this one more time?
Oh, go ahead.
This story comes from my son because before my wife got pregnant, I was under the illusion that it'd be selfish to bring a child into this world. And we were like pushing that off and thinking that first we're going to build a beautiful world, then have kids and, make it nice for them. Yeah, anyway, it was a fun idea. He started showing up into my dreams, and the big theme of it, I won't tell you the dreams, but the big theme was, this is a fucking awesome time to be alive. Like, humanity created this really terrible system you keep describing on purpose because we love the story of the underdog.
Greatest system ever made.
The greatest messed up story, the greatest villain we could create, because that creates the story. That's the game that we get to all then come together and against all odds, build this new world, and we weren't going to make it, right? So he came to me and he's like, you're being selfish not letting me play the game right now because it's really freaking good time to be alive. And I'm like, oh shit, you're right, I am being selfish. I want to beat the game first and then bring you in? What type of fun is that? He's like, no, I want to be in here now, and I'm coming in anyway. And by the way, the second dream was, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was running around, I was up in my head, and he was teaching me that the new generation, they're already here, and they're already heart-centered, and they already know what that more beautiful world is. They're living it. And they already know how to get there, and it's our role to kind of just support that process and hold that space for them. Why am I crying? Holy shit, I've never cried in my life. I was in the Marine Corps. I was taught never to cry. I'm just going to finish this and pass it because I'm going to go take my own time. Thank you. So the second dream was just him teaching me that at least I didn't know what I was doing. So it was being selfish and stupid and kind of silly to think that I could create that world without them and then bring them into it. So this is the greatest time alive. And I love you.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much for that. I just want to riff off that real quick because this is like my whole life story, I grew up like obsessed with imagination and dreams and fantasy. Like I didn't want to learn economics. I didn't want to take on the monetary system. I didn't want to understand cooperative, federated, new structures for land trusts and interlocking community currency layers and the meta substrate of, cybernetic systems. Fuck all that. I wanted to make dreams and poetry. I wanted to live in a world of imagination, and I played in my backyard, my bioregion, That was my whole kingdom of creating a better world and imagining I was fighting monsters and taking on evil to save the fucking world. And those are the stakes. That we get to be born into that world where that is literally the assignment, and anything less than that is falling short, and anything less than that is a weak story that's not going to sell. Or maybe we need to stop trying to sell that story and start giving people something they can buy into, And so yeah, imagination is everything. It is the way out. We are not going to tinker our way out of this. We have to dream our way out. We have to envision it. And I don't just mean in an airy-fairy, complete idealistic way, because we can't just make paper proclamations or shout at the system. Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. And I've been demanding things with activist groups for decades. And I say, demands without power are just wishes. And so we need to envision a better world, a vision, and remember the purpose of the human being, and create a mission to actually build our way out of this world into that new world, taking every single step together, holding each other up, realizing it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult, but we have each other. God damn it, we have the mueria. We have all the sum total of all our commitments and capacities. We have each other. No matter what happens, if the moon falls, if the oceans rise, we have each other. And we will find a way out of this. We will find a way through this. And we'll do it here and here. We'll do it in our imagination. And then we'll make it real, painstakingly real, strategically, brilliantly, financially viable. And we will make it real in every way if we come together and make it that our purpose, make that our goal. So, what's up, brother? I think we got time for one more question, and then I got a little ending spiel. And then we'll close out and go get some food and smoke some weed. How about that? That's an answer to the imagination question. Like, hey, buddy, smoke weed.
So thank you for your storytelling. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your story listening. I needed
Am I on?
it.
Is this on?
I think you're on. Let's turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It looks dead to me.
Okay. Thank you. So, I think I'm the oldest one here. I'm 83, and
Blue moon.
so everybody's
You
story
saw me
is
standing
sacred.
alone.
Each and every one of you, your story is sacred. My story, I learned my story starting from my mother, and my mother told me there are only two paths in life: path of love and the path of fear. Most people choose the path of fear. What is the path of fear? The path of fear is security. You want to be secure. You know where you find your most security? Where do you find it? Inside yourself. By following your inner passion. That's your true guide. When you follow your purpose, then you will have security. And that's my story to you. And that's my story in my work. That's my story in Kinship Earth. That's what we're doing here together. So each and every one of you, you follow your passion. Because each and one of us come into this life with a purpose. And when we march to our purpose, then we empower not only ourselves, but we empower the whole humanity. But it takes a lot of courage. It takes guts to follow your purpose, because our society is not designed for you to follow your purpose. So you have to realize that when they said, we're made in the likeness of God, what does that mean? It means that we're creators. We create. What we can imagine, we can create. That's the power of a human being. No other creature has that. So what are we working on now? It's like Buckminster Fuller said, human beings need to be net positive to the earth. And we're the only creature in the whole entire planet that is not net positive to the earth. And, you know, he gave an example. If you weigh all the ants in the world, they weigh exactly what the weight is of all the human beings in the world. Did you know that? It's a fact. Yeah. And yet, you know how much ants eat in the world? Ants eat something like, 3 times their body weight or something like that. And human beings eat like a fraction of like 2%, maybe 1% of their body weight every day. But ants are living net positive to the earth, and we are not. Why? Because we don't have the consciousness or awareness to live in a way that's net positive to the earth. But we can. We have the technology, but we don't have the will. There is a movement in the world called the IDGs, the Inner Development Goals. We're talking to the converted right here in this group. Anyway, I want to thank you for that, for your storytelling today.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. And yeah, I just want to say what he said about purpose is absolutely true. Every single one of us has a purpose. We are here for a reason. Give yourselves a hand because you found it. You found your purpose. And if you're still working that out and figuring it out, I got to do a little shilling here because I have a mission. My mission is to help you figure out your mission. My mission is to help expand purpose and raise the stakes of those problems and send that vision out into the stratosphere of what is truly possible. So Another World is Possible is building an end-to-end storytelling infrastructure, a federation of change makers. We're working with people like beautiful Sean right here to create AI systems to, take this ancient wisdom and bring it into modern technological systems. We're working to assemble the best and brightest minds, the most brilliant wizards and change makers. We're working to create an ecosystem of all these projects. We want to find these projects. We want to give them these tools. We want to take them through the system, crack that story, shoot the most beautiful content possible, craft that engagement pathway, understand and defeat the banality of marketing and advertising, and do it better. Do it for good. Like, there's like 15-year-old TikTokers right now that are like bringing in millions of eyeballs to nonsense. We need to learn how to do that for good and bring people into these revolutions. Sorry, I meant regeneration movements. But anyway, yeah, it's a revolution, and it starts with all of us finding that purpose and living into it. And so, yeah, if you guys have a story out there, if you have a purpose, or if you feel like it's just dawning on you, like, connect with me. I want to help you do it. I'm here to help tell these stories. I found the wellspring of stories. I found the gold mine. Every one of you here is just like sparkling with amazing potential. And I see very precisely the ways that potential is not being realized or not taken far enough. And I'm working to weaponize that with a crack pirate ship of myth makers to envision and realize this new world so beautifully that people aren't like, oh, I need to believe in this. No, you don't have to believe in it. It's already happening. It's already here. It's here and now, and all we have to do is show up and be ourselves. All right. Take it easy. Thank you. Another world is possible. Is it? Is another world? Is it possible? Fuck yeah, another world is possible.